Rahim. Start with the name of Allah who is most merciful and almighty. As we talk about fatigue, and that is organization fatigue and as well as industrial fatigue. When you talk about fatigue, word comes. So definitely we talk, the word fatigue means tiredness, it means exhaustions, it means weakness, laziness. Now these are which is relevant to fatigue. So when you become under the fatigue, when you become under the psychological fatigue, what will be the consequences will be, what will be the result, outcomes will be that. Definitely you will feel drowsy, sleepy, act all your body or pain and your headache. Your body become, it becomes laziness. You fall under the pressurized too much there. So industrial fatigue, we discussed about that. When you talk about industrial fatigue and its types, we said that we have two types of industrial fatigue. The one we have psychological and another we have physiological. When you talk about psychological or physiological which is relevant to our muscles, all the activities that we have done with our muscles, like picking the boxes from one place to another all the time, working with our muscles, so definitely we become tired, our body becomes, it lose our emotions or energy. So whenever we come to about psychological fatigue means we are mentally disturbed. How we are mentally disturbed? With the workload, work environment is not good, a relationship is not proper with us, communication is not good. When we have barriers within an organization, whether that is a culture related, environmental related, structure related, colleagues related, top management related, whatever there is, when it becomes over means excessive, so it makes us fatigue, it makes us tired. So over here we have discussed about psychological fatigue, physiological fatigue. Like fatigue is the inability, like an inability to continue functioning the level of normal ability. What does it mean then? No, inability. The word is in here, what do we have? Inability. One we have ability, another we have inability. Ability means to perform some certain type of actions. Inability means we are unable to perform as we are performing in our ability. So it means that whatever we have, our normal ability, we are not performing like this. A person with physiological fatigue cannot lift a heavy box or walk as far he could not fatigue. Like for example, you are in normal condition, you can walk for a longer time. So when you become fatigued, you are unable to walk, you will be dizzy, you will be in a condition of like a moving, like you are moving yourself, and as well as you feel that I'm moving, my body is moving, my body is moving. Yeah, sometimes you feel that you are walking on the way, but your feet are not supporting you. Your one legs go there and another leg goes there, so you become fatigue. Now in here we have our muscular fatigue resulting prolonged physical work. For example, prolonged means for longer time we work there. If you're consistently, if I give you an example of mine, that if I teach from morning to evening consistently without non-break, what will happen that? Look, my physical body is using that. I'm using my physical body, mental, as well as my mentally. But physically, I will be tired too much. So there is an example of prolonged means for long hours. If you look at the psychological fatigue, on the other hand, rather than manifestations in sleepiness or slowness, a person with psychological fatigue falling asleep, may react very slow or may be inattentive. When you become psychological fatigue, tiredness. For example, you work all the day. So what will happen? You will be fall asleep. You might, because for relaxing your mentality, you need a relaxation. But that relaxation comes from where? From your sleeping. Proper sleeping can help you out to be active. When you're sleeping, when you're sleeping is proper, so it means that you will be react back with the proper and normally. Because sleeping is the only term which make you relax. Is an only when you fall asleep and you take a sleep, rest for a short time, you are for 1 hour, for 3 hours, so that make you attentive. When you have no break time, consistently you are working from morning till evening, consistently working without any break, it makes you psychological fatigue. Now what do you have? Now you fall asleep, you may react slowly. When you become tired, you will not, your work will be not be active. That will be slow. If someone say do this work, okay, I'll do it, but you will not be that much active to perform that task because of you have already consumed your energy somewhere else, but right now it's difficult for you to react back. Now what do you have? Or be attentive. So you will be inattentive. Inattentive means you will not be given a concentration in here. For example, you are in here in afternoon class, maybe one of you guys, you work somewhere and he came back from his or her working in here in the class. So maybe a little bit you be unattentive because you consume your all energy somewhere else in a vertical. Now you came in here a little bit, you are being not attentive, you are not giving a proper concentration to the class. So maybe the problem is because you have already consumed your energy in the morning from afternoon, you already consume your energy somewhere. Now it's time. So maybe there will be inattentive. Maybe you will not be attentive in the class. Maybe, as I'm not sure. Maybe is attentive because young, energetic, no need of that work and not affect on your performance. You have energy to perform more. So I'm talking about those who have already consumed and coming back and they feel fatigue. And they are not at the age of 30 plus, 40, they work, if they consume your energy in one place, so when they come to another place, they will be a little bit under the fatigue conditions. Now, with the micro sleep, a person may be unaware that he was asleep. Sensory, now degradation of sensory perceptions, cognitive fatigue, alertness, intellectual fatigue are example we have. Now look here. When you talk about psychological, we will face 3 types of fatigue. Number 1, that is cognitive. Cognitive means the mind that we are storing. Our ability of catching power will be slow. We will lose something. We will not properly concentration here. So wherever we are storing the information that we are stored, that place we can call cognitive ability. So after fatigue, after working hard for a longer time, your capacity of catching something will be slowed down. Next we have alertness. Alertness means you will be not be that much attentive, not that much alert to concentration. Your concentration will be low as compared to others. Now the last one we have intellectual fatigue. Intellectual fatigue means you will be unable, your judgment will be poor. You will not be able to solve a problem properly. When you come under the fatigue, look, a new situation comes, you will be unable to give a time or to find your solution for that because your intellectual power, your ability, your mental ability will not perform as required. Is it clear? Clear? Okay, next we have, the question is that, as I ask from all others, and a similar question I ask you from you guys, why do we get fatigue? What is the reason? All of you guys, one reason should tell me, all of you. So what is the reason that why we get fatigue? One by one.
Hard working.
Wait, one by one, not I'm one by one from this. Okay, what? Why a person become tired? A lot of, heavy work. Next. Huh? Uh, consistent working. Okay, consistently working. Next. You. Silent. You. Ah, yeah. Consuming your energy, yeah?
Consuming too much.
Yeah, energy. Next. Your turn will come.
Pressure of work.
Huh?
Pressure of work. Pressure of work.
Okay, pressure, work pressure. Yeah, work pressure. Next.
Don't eat.
Okay, not healthy. Yeah, ill health. Yeah, ill health, you're unhealthy, yeah? Next. Uninterested, yeah? Not interested. Not relevant. Job. Next.
More effort. More effort.
Okay, more effort. Hard work. Next. Ziyad masruf mein bosha. Too much busy, yeah? Yeah, having a lot of work. Yeah, next. Yeah, unemployment. Next.
Working more than the capacity.
Yeah. Work more than your capacity. Next. If you don't know, just directly tell me pass.
Work without break. Working without break.
Yeah. Break. Next.
Not sleep properly.
If you don't know, say it. Pass.
Physical activity.
Yeah, physical activity. Yeah. Physical work. Next.
Loss of sleep. Not proper.
No proper sleeping. Yeah, lack of sleeping. Yeah. Next. Yeah, mental activity. Next. Mukhtar.
Not enough time for rest.
Lack of time.
Not enough time for rest.
Okay.
You mean not managing time for your rest and work.
Lack of rest. Next.
More responsibilities.
Too much responsibility. Yeah.
So show me.
Huh? To Miggy. You want to say lost? Okay.
Not proper.
That is now come under fatigue. No proper salary, yeah? It means no appropriate salary. Yes? Don't know? How size? More physically, already written there.
No promotion.
Too much? Driving. Okay. Driving, yeah? Next. Okay. Age factor.
The last one is namaz.
Huh?
The last one is namaz.
Namaz. Okay, namaz. Yeah. Yeah.
No promotion opportunity, no job.
Yeah. Heavy.
أستاذ مثل الأوفر تايم work يعني مثلا قليلة.
Heavy working. Okay. More working. Okay, now look, why do we get fatigue? Almost all of you guys said these factors, that why do we get fatigue, right? So similarly, what we are going to discuss is same factors. Almost we have the same factors. What we have? Heavy workload. If we have heavy work, stress, we become under the fatigue. Consistently working without break. When you have no break and consistently working, that becomes under the fatigue. Now, when we are consistently working somewhere, now without any break, consuming our energy, and we are working and we are work as much as more than our capacity. We are working, we are consuming our energy more than our capacity. So it will also affect us. Work pressure. Work pressure how? Look, the timeline is here. The project starts from here, and this is the timeline. You have to complete it in here. Up to this time, you have to complete it. But the pressure is here, you have a lack of time. You don't have that much time. The work pressure is on you to complete your task within a time frame, but that make you pressurize. You're unable to perform. You're like a mentally disorder. Now become what? Fatigue. Another, we have ill-healthy, unhealthy person. When your health, the most important factor in our job, that is health. If you have ill health, your health is not good, that will make you unable to perform any task. Next, we have not a relevant job. Every one of us, we are trying to have a relevant job. Maybe you are interested in marketing, maybe you are interested in HR, and maybe you are interested in finance. But somehow, just because of obligations, you got another job, a temporary job, for sake of your pocket money. So that job will not make you entertain. That is not the aim that you want, but that make you fatigue, because that is not aim, because that won't take you to that level what you want. But when a job is irrelevant to you, it make you fatigue. Next, we have hardworking. When you work hard, so that will also make you a fatigue. Too much, too much, what do you have? Too much, having a loss of work. When your responsibility is not clear, your role and responsibility is not clear, what you are hired for, you don't know about that. Your role responsibilities, you don't know what I'm doing it. Because one day you're working as a cashier, another day you're working as a supervisor, another day you're working as a security guard. So your work is what? You don't know about that. You're jumping like a monkey from one place to another. So that make you fatigue. You don't know about that, what you are going to do that. Next, we have unemployment. As the person said, that unemployment is self a fatigue. Unemployment, it is not a fatigue. It is not a fatigue, unemployment. We cannot call that as unemployment is a fatigue. Unemployment is a stress. It is a stress. But we cannot tell him, because it will not take for a longer time. Maybe tomorrow you get a job. Today you are unemployed. Tomorrow you will get a job. Maybe tomorrow, after 1 month you get a job. Maybe after 1 year you get a job. But that we cannot, because you are consistently working for that. Sitting in your place and telling this that there is unemployment, that is a useless. Like many people, they say that there is unemployment. Okay, let's suppose you are graduated in 2019. Let's suppose you are graduated in 2019. Now, what you have done onward 2019 and the end of December? What you have done? Nothing. I was sitting at home and searching for. Have you worked on yourself? Have you worked on yourself? Have you invested on yourself? Something else? Somehow we are just waiting for others to tell us that come, there is a job. We did not search for that. We did not look for that. We are not consistently work, because job unemployment doesn't mean that You are not made for job. So don't give yourself a value of low category. Allah Rabbul Izzat make you unique. So go for uniqueness. You have ability. Many of you guys, they have ability. So find out that one ability, what inside you have. Work on that. You will be completely converted from others. You will be completely different from others if you work on that. But we are not unable to work. Before finishing, we are just looking for the references. Before finishing, we all the time we are looking for the references, who will reference us. But we are not working on ourselves, our capacity building. Look, the market needs capacity builder. Those people who have the capacity, those people who have the unique quality. What do you have unique quality? Only BBA cannot help you out to crack a job. You must go according to the market. What the market needs. Look, market need is English is requirement. English writing and speaking is the requirement is there. Computer skill is a requirement. Your intellectual power should be appropriate. Your decision making should be appropriate. Your knowledge should be relevant. You must have a knowledgeable person. Study it. You have the time to study different books, extra books. Go for that. Invest on yourself. Then see. One thing I'll make sure that Allah will never destroy your effort. Many of you say that you did your effort. You're saying that I have done an effort, but there is no result. But make sure that you are doing result not for the sake of people. If the people are not watching you, your effort, your ability, your effort, but Allah is watching you. Your all efforts, your all credibility, your all talent, Allah is watching you, that your effort. But Allah will never destroy your effort. One day He will give you the reward of it. But you have to believe on yourself, work on yourself, consistently working on yourself. Watch, learn from different books. Read. The more you read, the more you read, the more your intellectual power will be increased. Go for that. Now, what do you have? Work more than your capacity. You have less capacity, but you're working more. Working without break is also fatigue. When you're consistently working without break, it makes you fatigue. Next, we have physical work, as we discussed about. No proper sleeping. You have no proper sleeping. Look, from morning till evening you're working, but when you go back to home, still you're working. You're preparing for the class. For 1 hour, for 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, still you're working for that. But when you sleep at 2 o'clock, but at 5 o'clock again you wake up, coming back for the class, your sleeping time is short. It makes you fatigue because your sleeping time is not proper. A person must sleep 6 hours or 8 hours. But we have inability. But we are still in fatigue. But the new day will start again. We are coming under. We're starting our new day with the fatigue because we did not sleep properly. We come back again with the same conditions. Next, we have lack of mental activity, lack of rest. There is no rest. That's why much responsibility. When you have too much responsibilities, working all the day. Look, work we can call workload. We can call it workload. When we have too much workload on us, we are all the day working, too much, all responsibilities. So definitely 5% work of 5% I'm doing, single person can perform only the 5% of work. Too much responsibilities are there that make you fatigue as well. Now next we have no proper salary. No proper salary cannot be a reason for fatigue. It is an excuse. If you want to increase your salary, it will increase. If you invest on yourself, if you invest on your capacity building, it will increase. Definitely, if you call me, sir, increase, let's suppose I'm your manager and you tell me that increase my salary. Why I should increase your salary? Tell me the one reason that I should increase your salary. What you have done? So what, Yeah, you have, look, you working too much is not. Working with the creativity, that is much better. Work with the creative, coming with the creative ideas that which give us the benefit. Now working hard or too much working that is like a simple, you can say, work with a different from others, with a creative. That does not mean that you're working all the day. Work with the creative ideas, bring new ideas, come, be present with the decision making, and go with the ideology. Different ideology should be given to your manager, to the department, so that they should make it toward success. Now, what do you have? The next one, too much driving. Yeah, driving is also one of the factors. Driving, when you are driving from one place to another, consistently you are staring something that. While you're driving, consistently staring to the road and are coming that, so that make you fatigue, that make you psychologically disturbed. Now we will have in here an experiment on truck drivers. They have did a research on truck drivers. Whatever the factors they gain from the truck drivers, I'll share with you guys. What are the factors which make truck drivers fatigue? What are those skills? And that we make it relevant to our departments, our organizations. So these are all those factors that we are going to discuss about that, and we have already discussed about that. But I'll show you 3 researches in here. But in 3 researches, I'll show you a similar something, the factor which they have discovered. Research means why we conduct the research. We're conducting a research for the sake of to find out something. That is the main reason when you conduct a research for the sake of to find out something. In here, a researcher I have put in three researches so that they have found something, and I'll share you with you guys. The first research, that is, if you look at that, Rogers et al. 1999 noted that several different mechanisms can contribute how fatigue individual is. For example, loss of sleeping, length of working hours, age, health status, and general sleeping quality, experience at work, motivation and home family life, responsibilities, and the next we have commuting times. Look, these are what we have said about that. Is there any similarity between your factors in here? Almost you have similarities in here. Some points are similar in here. Whatever they have found out and whatever you have experimented in your life, in your practical life, what you have experimented. Whatever you said that these factors, what you have said that you said that these factors according to your life, what you have experienced that. But in here, we have in here working hours, the length of working hours, lost your sleep. Some people, they are unable to sleep at night. At night, they're unable to sleep. They have problems of insomnia. Sleeping problem. They take a pills for sleeping that. So somehow these problems are there because of the stress of work, all the day working, that become a habit of it. That become a habit of someone. So that's why that is become a loss of sleep. When you become a loss of sleep, that is one factor of fatigue. Now your working hour is more than. Let's suppose you are normally Ministry of Working in here. They've announced that work hours should be from 8:30 to 3:30. Now it decreases from up to 3:30. Now 3:30, but what will happen? Some organizations, they take work from you for 12 hours. They make you engage for 12 hours. Some will make you engage for 8 hours, or some will make you for 10 hours. So more working hours can also make you a fatigue. Now what do you have next? A health age. Age factors is very compulsive, very necessary. That's for age factors for performing your work. Now if you take an example of, let's look, 20, 30, 40, 42, 50 and 50 and above. Now what will happen? Tell me that from 20 to 30 age, those people who are under their life in here. So what do you think that? What would be the energy level of them? Is high or low? Therefore, the level is very high. What about 30 to 40? Similar is also high. What about 42? Medium. Yeah, moderate or medium. Yeah. And what about 50? So that is what somehow we have in here categorization of that. It means that age is Much compulsory. When we are assigning a task of those who are compulsory to do from 20, those for these people, when we assign the task of these people to them, to those people who are above the 50, will they perform?
Maybe.
Will they perform? Yeah, the word in here we have maybe. Maybe means, it means that there is a 50% chances of, 40%, 30% chances they perform.
There's a doubt.
Doubt in here. So all those people who are performing, maybe you see that they are 50 but they are very energetic. Why? Just for the sake of one reason. They show themselves energetic or active in the world just for the sake of not losing a job, because they have less opportunity in the market, less opportunity of work in the market. If they fire from the job, maybe someone else will not give them a job. That is the many reasons. For they're working hard, the old people working hard and effective for a longer hour just for the sake of their survival. To survive. Maybe they work for their survival. But if you take these people, they work because they consume their energy for the sake of what? For the sake of development, growth. Growth will be there. The age is the most factor. What about the health status? If you are ill, if you are unhealthy, will you perform? No, you are unable to perform. How will you perform? You will not be performing as the people, those who are healthy. If you take the journal sleeping quality, your journal sleeping quality, let's suppose we have a journal sleeping quality 8 hours, but you are sleeping for 3 hours. So it is also a factor of fatigue. Next we have experience at work. Experience at work, if you are having much more experiences,
General sleep duration.
8 hours. According to the babies we have, there are 8 hours, but the young, those who are under the 20 to 30, they need 6 hours sleeping properly, not less than that. Next we have work-life balance. Work-life balance. Your home, you're not properly giving time to your home, family, become under the pressure. When you are under the pressure, you are unable to perform the task. Now responsibilities are too much, as we discussed in here, too much responsibilities are there. When you have too much responsibilities, it means that mentally or psychologically disturbed. That was the first research, which is the factors he found out from his research, that these are the factors, but these are not enough factors, because one more study he found something else. He found out that travel stress. What is that? Travel stress. Travel stress is what going from one place to another consistently, for example, from Jalalabad to Kabul, Kabul to Herat, from Herat to Kabul, Kabul to Jalalabad. When you're consistently traveling from one place to another, that will becomes a travel stress. Your sleeping time will be less. More than your sleeping time will be inside the traveling. Now, the second research the second one found out about the travel stress, and the third one, for Cohn's 1998, he found out that the shift of working, like 12 hours, 55 hours a week should be avoided. Look, you must be thankful that we are now performing 8 hours working or 7 hours working. In the past there will be 12 hours working. 12 hours working, if it calculates it for 12 hours, so it becomes 52 hours working in a week. Consistently working for a long time, prolonged time, will also make you fatigue. These three researches which has found out some factors of fatigue, that why we get fatigue. Is it clear? Now, in addition, he notes that fatigue can occur for other reasons. So the other reasons, what are the other reasons? I'll one by one tell you. Number one, too much or too little inspiration at work. Next we have a large stimulation is mushkil nahi. Inspiration or stimulation. Look, when you have inspirations, like look here, When we are working and there is no inspiration means that's the right desire. When you have not desire of working, look, you're working, you want to work as a marketing manager, but you are working as a finance officer. So that, what do you think that? Well, that finance officer will give you an inspiration, will give you any motivation, will give you any, desire, any thirst, give you anything? No, it's not giving you any inspiration to work in here for a longer time. When there is no match between your job and your wants, so that has become fatigue, mismatch of. It means that mismatch. Now next we have through two instances. If you fatigue, get out from the class. Lack of opportunity for different work task. The first one we have large fatigue does through two instances work. Consistently we are working from long time without any break. It also makes us fatigue, and you need a break. I know that. Lack of opportunity for different task. Not taking sufficient short breaks while at work. It needs break, yeah. Short time break we need it, like a short time, like for example we are from working from in here from 1 hour, but between 1 hour we must have a little break for eating, we must have a little break for snack, for chips, or you must have to drink something, and for 3 minutes or for 5 minutes it makes you relax, somehow. Having insufficient time to recover from fatigue. For example, yesterday you become fatigued, but what will happen? That same fatigue capacity is when the new day start, again it goes with you. So it is not proper. We have an improper sleeping. When your sleeping is not proper, it means that you have not recovered your fatigue. Is it clear? For cons, long-term fatigue occurs when is carried over to next day. The long-term, the fatigue will be when it carries to the next day. Like today you have taken class, but tomorrow because you have a huge gap, your fatigue will be recovered. So you will come from tomorrow. Tomorrow you have a holiday. You become very fresh for the next Saturday class. Okay, what time? Okay, we will discuss only symptoms. We have few symptoms. Symptoms means, what does it mean by symptoms? Signs. Okay, I'll tell you that. Okay, I'll tell you the symptoms. Number 1, weakness, lack of energy, tiredness and exhaustions. This is the sign of fatigue. You believe when you see these signs, a person is what? Weakness, lack of energy, he is not performing and falling asleep, he or she is stretching out and yawning. So believe that person is fall asleep. Next we have passing out or feeling if you are going to pass out. You are that much tired, you are passing out means you are falling down. You are almost dying. The dying situation. Working too much that you are unable to walk properly is one, and also the dying situation is here. This one is very interesting. Palpitations. You know palpitations? It means I'm feeling your heart beating. Look, this is an experiment. Do it with the dogs. Tell the dog that run after me. When the dog run after you, when you stop, you become palpitations. Your heartbeat will be start beating or whatever happens. If we are teaching in here, so when we are consistently teaching, so after teaching we becomes, because we're talking too much consistently, becomes palpitations, right? Next we have dizziness. Mentally confused. You are confused at what I'm doing in here, what I'm made for here. what is my role or responsibility, you are not aware of it. When somehow with your unclear role or responsibility, you become dizziness, and that become another symptom of fatigue. The last one, vertigo. Vertigo objective or vertigo subjective? Vertigo subjective is what? You believe. After tiredness, you believe that you are moving. After tiredness, you believe that you are moving. Because you believe that you are standing like this, but you believe that just because of tiredness, your feet is not supporting you. One goes there, another goes here. So that you become a little bit moving. Somehow you feel that I'm a static, but the peoples are moving. Subjective fatigue is, look, vertigo of subject is what? That you are moving, and objective fatigue, vertigo means that you are static, but the others are moving. The house is moving. You believe that someone is moving. Somehow you are shocked. Like this, Okay, that's all for today. Not for today. You have got a break. Used, demonstrable and significant cycle and physiological changes. To investigate the nature of these changes, to discover whether the characteristic pattern of psychological response occur after long hours of driving. Now, the studies conducted on a truck driver driving, we gain some psychological and physiological factors of fatigue from here relevant to drug driving, and as well as we want to link that factors to our organizations. As we look at that, we got 16 factors which were considered as a contributing to fatigue in a truck driver. Were number one, show. Number one, we have performance of skilled operating required and high degree of alertness and attention. Psychological. Psycho is related with the mentality. Psycho related with the mental.
Those knowledge which has linked with the brain.
Yeah, with the brain, with the mental ability. Number one, what we have? Performance of skilled, required high degree of alertness and attention. Actually, what do you have? You need a skill. For a skill, you need alertness and as well as attentiveness. Whenever we are acquiring a skill which is must needed for our that need alertness and as well as attention, which we learn when we start learning in any new skills there. Like in here, as a truck driver, the skill of driving a truck, you must be a very skillful. You must be very attentive and alert so that you are driving a truck. Now next we have nervous. You didn't get that. Look, the skill that we are driving, the skill that we need, that needs too much alertness, that needs too much attentiveness. Whenever we are learning a skill, whether it's a truck driving skill, whether it's in any other skill, any skill, it needs alertness, it needs attentiveness. Whenever we are give too much time, alertness, attentiveness to any skill of learning, we will learn that skill. Alert means active.
So why do we need to study this truck driving skills?
Actually, this is a study which is relevant to our. It's a study which is conducted for drug driving, and we make it relevant to our organization that these are the things which are needed. For example, when you want to,
Truck driving and organizations.
the fatigue is similar. The skill that you need, the nature is similar. Although it is a different, but the nature is similar. The nature of study is similar. We can implement that. For example, skill in here we have put it and a driving skill. But when you come to about organization, you must have managerial skills. You must have technical skills. You must have intellectual skills. Now these skills when you want to learn for these skills, you need attentive and alertiveness.
Who conducted this research?
Conducted who researched, that is a person by the name of, that who conducted, that is a Zont alert, what you have the name, is written there. So that person who conducted research, after that conducting research, he derived 16 factors, what is physiological and as well as psychological fatigues that are there. Now next we have nervous strain due to driving under the diverse conditions. Look, if you look at the example of a person, a driver which convert to diverse, look, in diverse condition, in a different condition, he might be a nervous when he have. For that, you need to be alert. For example, when you are inside an organization, the cultures are changing. One organization, another organization, the culture are changing, the peoples are changing, the culture, the structure, everything is changing. For that changing, you need to have alertness in order to adopt that. Now, muscular exertion, loading and unloading, and repairing and maintenance of vehicles. When we are driving, we must have the skill of loading and unloading. You must have the skill of repairing whenever we need it. For example, so if you take this question for organization, when we want to survive in organizations, you must have the skills of problem solving. We must have the skills to solve a problem. We must have a technical skills. We must have a communication skills. These are skills which are needed. Because if you don't have these skills, you will not be survive. You will be stuck in one place. As if we take an example of truck driver. If the truck driver does not know how to repair a truck, so maybe in the way a truck will be stuck. So what he will do? He will stay in there. He will call for a mechanic. When he will come, then he will repair. Yeah. Or it is better that he should learn by himself the skill, and whenever he needed, he resolve the problem by himself. So which is the better? Learning by himself or calling other? Learning by yourself. Similar things are whenever you face a problem during you are working, like during the organization. So for problem solving, what do you think? You call a person to solve a problem, or you are solving the problem by your own self? By your own self. You are trying to solve a problem by your own self. It is better to solve a problem by your own self. You must have the skill. It is required, it is necessary. A person must have the skills of solving a problem. Now solving a problem, once you will solve a problem, maybe you will fail. For second time you fail. For third time, for fifth time, you will pass. You will be succeeded. So consistently working or something on a problem or getting solution, you will be succeeded for that.
There are different situations that the problem solving is linked to this one.
Whenever you have a technical skills or problem solving, wherever the different situations comes, you will adopt that. If you are consistently involved yourself in a problem solving.
Solving a machine, solving a car machine is different into decision.
Look, whenever we are driving, maybe the fault there, maybe there's a engine fail, maybe there is a lighting problem, whatever is the problem we have. So whenever we don't know about the exact problem, we will solve a minor problem by our own self, right? A small changes we can our own self. But when we have a huge problem, definitely we conduct a consultant. But what about the small problems? What about the small? Will you also call for a consultant to come in here and solve it? No. For a small problem, you have to do by your own self, take your own action rather than calling somebody else, because you have a time constraint, you have a limitation of time. Because a limitation of time, you have to complete the task in a quick process rather than a long time. You don't have too much time to call a person. He will come in a 1 week, and then look the time duration. You must have this skill, because the time is very running fast. You have to adapt yourself, because performance will be affect on you if you have no skill of problem solving and calling somebody else. So why do we need you? Being as a manager of organization, a manager of organization, they must have a technical skill, intellectual skill, so that he or she can solve the problem quickly process. Next we have journal irregularity or habit or resulting a long distance. Now what do you have? somehow the habits, the good habits can make you alive. You must have the habit of communication, interactions, relationship with others. You must have to make it for long and long distance. If you have a habit which is occurring, like many people, they have a habit of quickly they get angry, or maybe they feel too much anxious, worry, and that. So these the problems which is happen on your career. You must have the habit which make you for longer and longer time to be sustained in the market. Next we have failure to obtain satisfactory rest or sleep during the rest period or when off duty. The most important that for a truck driver, is it a truck driver? Truck driver, whenever he got a day off, he must sleep for all the day. Similarly, when you have got a day off, tomorrow is a day off, so go and make yourself relax and sleep for just wake up for prayers and sleep again. Make yourself relax, because this is a day off for not for outing, day off for your rest, for make yourself mentally relax, rather than going somewhere else for outing or for visiting somewhere with the friends. It's better to rest in your home and make yourself calm and make yourself ready. This rest time period is why it's make you ready for the next week to perform your all duties. Now next we have physical condition, the most important, how your physical condition is. Good health is a big benefit for you. Health. Pay attention to your condition, work condition. Pay attention to your health, because if you we can say that health is wealth. If your health is there, so it means that you can do anything there. If you have no health proper, you have no proper digestion system, no properly your mental ability is not proper, you're under the stress. What do you think that? Will you be able to? People are too much crying of what? People are saying that I have a diabetes, headache, stomach problem, these problems comes from where? These are the problems, they come from our mental inability, mentally stress. When you have mentally stress, these problems will arise. So health is much more important than that. What do we have? Now next we have constant use of the eyes frequently under the unfavorable conditions such as glare. Now what do we have? While you are driving a car, you're consistently watching. You might have seen something illusions in your side. For example, you are driving consistently looking to the road, and inside the road it would be far behind, very far. You see something, there is a water, but when you go there is nothing there. Like on the road, you see that something. Now when you are consistently looking something, your eyes become a little bit pain on your eyes. You have a pain on your eyes. So consistently working also one of the factor of the fatigue. Now that's why they have a person for switching their seats. I have seen that people say I have drivers and the truck driver, they have two drivers. One is as a supporter. When he tired, another person come, he will perform, and he will go back to on the back seat, he will sleep there. So similar in organizations. In organization, you must have a support, because we have coordination between one another. Inside organization, we have people, if our communication is good, our relationship is good, our coordination is good, so we got a support from one another. That. So sometimes you will go for a day off, he will work in place of you, or he will take the class in place of you. That as we are doing in here, because if I won't come for the next class, another teacher will come in place of me, then I'll come in place of him, right? Because this is a substitute which help us to maintain our mental health accurate. Yeah. Huh?
You mean alternatives?
Yeah, alternative, yeah. Yeah, replacement. Sometimes you have a replacement, like for a short time inside another person come, he will take the class, but I'll take a rest somehow. Social factor is environmental and occupational tradition possibly promoted by enforce of absence from home. Look, the most important factor, which is weekend absence of home. We are away. When we are away from home, this distance, this away of home, that will affect on our ability or our performance. We become tired or fatigued we have. Now, this distance, some people you might have seen that that they are away from their home for months, for years, they become fatigued there. So when they are away from home, so it becomes one of the factor, because they cannot concentrate properly to their work, because the problems were there in home. They got work-life balance is not proper. That's why they have under the fatigue comes. Now these are the facts. They have eight factors were there. Next 8 we have monotony inducing sleepiness. Now let's suppose monotone, the way, the rhythm, the rhythm, like somehow you are playing a music, the music which has soft music that allow you to sleep. Some sleep, or some that musics we have fall you asleep. That monotones, if I talk in a one direction and a one condition, maybe one of you guys fall asleep. The monotone, the rhythm is a one direction. So look, my voice is sometimes increase, sometimes decrease. There is a variation in my voice. Being an English teacher, those who are your English teacher, right? Being an English teacher, you must be variated sound. You must have a variation sound for the sake of when you have a variation sound, so that make people alert or active in the class. So when you have one monotone and one sound consistently going with the one, so maybe at the back of the chairs people will fall asleep. So English teacher must sometimes increase their voice, sometimes decrease their voice, so decrease, or if we can call falling, rising and falling intonations we have. Okay, next we have the consumption of coffee and alcohol. Look, consumptions of coffee and alcohol also one of the cause of the fatigues we have. No, people are consuming alcohol, or consumption means use of coffee. Why you take a coffee for that? Maybe people say that I want to take coffee for the sake of to make my mentally relax. Although he just for a short time he avoid a problem. All the problem will not disappear. But inside the coffee there is caffeine, I think somehow. Caffeine is here which make your mind a little bit divert. So that is for a short time period, not for a longer time. So it is also kind of when someone is consuming too much coffee or alcohol, so make sure he is a fatigue or having a stressful in their life. That's why. Next we have the consumption, next exposure of all types of weather conditions. Now another we have exposures to show ourselves with all type of conditions, all type of, we're showing our exposures, our appearance in all type of conditions. We believe we can adjust in every place that. So physically, when you want to avoid yourself from the fatigueness, you have to expose yourself with all. You will never be in one static and in one conditions. Like in a 4th season, you will be in a 4th season, you have only same attitude. No, you must be diverted. In here, the word in here, exposure of all type of weather condition, it means if you are working inside organizations, so with a manager, top management, you will have one attitude. With your colleague, you have another attitude. With your environment, with your workers, you have another attitude. With your friends, you have another attitude. It means that those people who will survive, those who have a different conditions of their attitudes. If you are static, from top management to the workers, you have the same level of attitude, what will happen there? You will be effect of fatigue. Now what do you have? The last one, exposure to toxic and fume and gas. Now toxic means poison. Poison or somehow gas. About the gas? Yeah, that's it. Somehow, why people take this? Just because of the pressure. When you pressurize, stressful, there is a high suicide rate in America of these things. Why? Because of the stressful life. They take these things. When they listen, whenever a person take any toxic, poison, or something that is burn himself, so feel that a person has a stressful life, problems are there. That's why, just because of that, he acted like this. Now next we have economic insecurity, that is fear of losing, exposure of toxic, somehow people are eating poisons when they have a problem in their life. Now, this is one factor, also is one of factor. When you see that someone has suicided, so that is exposure to you that he or she has the problem of their stressful life.
You can link this one in organization to this one.
Okay, how we can link this to organizations in your life? Because somehow you cannot take it a poison, but we can take it in here, deducting your salary, cutting your salary, or firing you from organization is not less than the poison. It's not less than the poison. So this is the one of that when your performance is low, so definitely what will happen? The organization will fire you. So this, for the sake of this, it's also is not less than the toxic. Now next we have economical insecurity. That is the fear of losing jobs, especially in the case of older men. Look, there's one fear of what? When you become old, you have a fear of that when I wish I could not lose the job. You're always working hard and for longer hours just for the sake to show the people that I'm active, as we have discussed in here about age. People who are above the 50, they are working with actively and are very passionate just for the sake of for surviving to secure their job. Now next we have noises. Noises means too much noises, and also one of the fatigue, what you can make you disturb or make you fatigue we have. So noise is also one of the factors which make you fatigue. Another we have vibrations. Vibrations, somehow, have you seen the pig one? Have you seen the pig one? A pig in a small kind of animal which is always spending time in the snow all the time. Small, having like me draw it there. Like this, small hand and small feet. Pigeons. Yeah. So what is that? Yeah, when that pigeon removed that, when he came out from that cold, they start vibrating themselves. Vibrating. Similar actions we are performing in our organizations. We become under the stress, our hand, our body posture, our feet, everything starts shivering and vibrating just because of the workload or stress is here. Next we have sedentary occupation that affect the postures. Somehow we have our jobs which is not completely relevant to our own desire, that affect on your posture, gesture, on our ability, when that is not relevant to our desire, not relevant to our passion. Because for example, teaching is your passion, that is relevant, your posture, gesture will move according to it. When your work is not passionate and that is not relevant to you, so maybe there will be a kind of discrepancy that we will not be acting for that. So there is, you become tired, you become fatigue when there is a discrepancy between your job and your desire. So when there is mismatch of your desire and mismatch of your job and desire, when there is a mismatch, so definitely you will not perform as it required. Mismatch. Next we have cause and remedies of industrial fatigue. Cause means the cause and the remedies. Remedies means solution for that. If there is a cause, what will be the solution for that? If I take the solution from all of you guys, that unfavorable and unsuited factory work environment. When there is unfactory work, it means that the work is not suitable to you. Unfavorable work, the work is not according to your desire. What are we going to do that? One, long working hour, inadequate rest periods. If there is long working hours, so what will be the remedies for that? If there is inadequate rest period, what will be the remedies for that? Number one, unfavorable, unsuited or factory work. We can say that unsatisfactory or unfavorable work environment include improper facility of illumination, ventilation. Ventilation means exposure to air, humidity, temperature, or problem of noise. Look, when there is inside organization, the structure, the environment is not good. It is not proper that to whom you are responsible. It is not proper who is hiring you. It's not identified that what is your role and responsibility is, what your job is. So what will happen that? Working too much with the responsible, too much work is there. He is also telling you do this work. He's also telling you do this work. Every person is telling you to do this work. And you are performing that. The role and responsibility is not clear. The environment is not properly organized. Look, the facility that you need. For example, winter came. You need heater inside your office. There is no heater. Let's suppose. You need something else. You need coffee at every 12 to 10 o'clock, but there is no coffee. You need something like which you needed, the facility that you need, that must be provided them, but there is no facility here. So what do you think that? What will be the remedies for that? That is unsatisfactory work. Now, the remedy is that all these factors which increase your ventilation, air conditions we have, facilities we have, like humidity we can say, like for example, in this seasons. What is in this season? We have these problems. Ventilation, like humidity problems there, like the hawa nami washer. We have problem we want to remove. Like we cannot proper teaching in our, because if the class is cold, will you teach properly? No. So we need a heater to decrease the humidity of that class. Now what do you have? When these problems are there, headache will be there, eye strain will be there, eyes time irritations and weakness. For minimizing these influencing work, employee must take care of the factory layout. What does it mean of factory layout? Factory structure, the layout. They must take care of it. Look, have you visited those organizations, those who are very famous in here in Afghanistan? They are full of the facilities are there. When you enter inside the office, they have all the facilities available there. The facilities from their, if the winter, whatever the winter facilities needed, they provide them for the sake of to be warm, right? To make them warm and so that they work. Look, you are sitting inside the office, you have no cooler, no heater is there, nothing is there, everything is, no curtain is there, no plastic is covered with windows are not covered with the plastic. So what are you going to do that? So while you work there, or you just make yourself warm? Definitely, because the health is very important, your health condition is very important. So you are just considering about your health rather than about work, because the most important that is your health. So you are thinking about your health, because when you're considering about taking care of your health rather than other work, you will not perform. If we provide you facilities to make you warm, so definitely you will do work, you will perform well. Is it clear or not? So we will take care, we will must factory layout, the organization layout, make your layout so that structure, yeah, make your organization structure as like people should be satisfied. They should work for a longer time. Next, long working hours. Long working hours. What do you think that? Long working hours can lead stress, mental health, decreased production, rate of accident also increase. Is it right or not? Look, number one, when you have long working hours, the first problem, the first cause, what is that? Stress, lead to stress. Mentally, you will be ill. Your health is not good. Next, we have decrease your production performance. Your performance will be decreased if you work for longer hours. Next, we have rate of accidents also increase. Have you seen the people those who are accidenting inside the road? Maybe they have. They work for longer hours. When they're driving, during driving they fall asleep. When they fall asleep, so when they woke up, they are in a hospital, right? Maybe some of them they woke up inside the grave, right? So what is that? The remedy for avoiding fatigue is simply regulate the law regarding working hours. What is according to Ministry of what is that? We have Ministry of Work, we have work. They mention the time that 8:30 from 3:30. 3:30. This is the time. This is the time for working. It's every organization should regulate this, follow this law. Every organization should follow the law. So no one is allowed to make their own law regarding the working hours. No one have more than this time. No one can give that up to 5 o'clock, that your time, yeah, you are bound with us up to 5 o'clock. No one can say that. If someone said this, so maybe private organizations are there. Maybe they said they will you for their for overtime. Maybe they will pay you for overtime. So the best solution is that follow the regulation law of your country. If you follow that, so the workload will be decreased. Inadequate rest period. Look, inadequate rest period means that you're consistently working. You have no rest time. No rest time you have. Inadequate rest period also occurs in industry fatigue. Most of the studies suggest that frequent short rest intervals look like to be more effective than few long hours. Look, for example, this is the time, this is the working hours. From, let's suppose, 8:30 to 3:30 is the working hours, right? So you are consistently working up to this time, and at 12 o'clock I'll tell you, you have a 1.5 hour break. 1.5 hour break. What do you think then? After coming up to after 1.5 hour break, will you have same motion as you will have it in here? No, because 1.5 hour, the interest, the enthusiasm will be disappear. Let's suppose 8:30, this time duration we have. Like for example, in 10 o'clock, I'll send a black tea with something chips for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes break. In here I give you 10 minutes break. Rest for drinking tea. Again, at 12 o'clock, again I'll send a little bit burger or chips for you to eat it. Make you, again you have in here, you have 15 minutes or 10 minutes break. So again, if you have like this goes on, or you will have from 10 to your 12:30 to 1:30, you have 1 hour break for rest, for performing your prayers, for all the activities. When you come back, you will have still the same motions here. For example, there was a research conducted. Two persons were there. They will read the same book. One person read the book in 7 days consistently. He read the book consistently without any break. He read the book in 7 days without any break consistently. Now look, another person, he read the book in 3 days with a break. Now which one is effective? The 3 days or the 7 days? What do you think that? 7 days or 3 days? 3 days. Yeah, how? Look, it is the best. And here, a person, he divided, like he started reading the book up to 1 hour or 2 hours. After 2 hours, he take just a rest off, entertainment or doing something, entertainment for that. After resting with your mind, again when he will come up with the same motion. Come up with whatever he has, this motion in here, the speed is here, same speed will come up after the break in here. 5 minutes or 10 minutes break, making their mind relax, and same motions will be there. Same things, it goes on for 3 days, because with the same speed. Now when he go with the same speed, he finish within 3 days. Like look at here. When you have a consistent, maybe in the start you have a speed is very high. The more the time will be gone, the speed will be decreased. Your reading speed will decrease. If you consistently, because your mental, intellectual will reading list, your capacity will be, your energy will consume. With the non-stop, the energy will consume, you will not perform properly then. So look, whenever we have inside the organization, when we are offering a small breaks to employees, so make them alert to come back to work with the same effort when you have started from 8:30. In 10 o'clock, we again give them that coffee or something else for the sake of to be active again to your work. One of my student, when I was talking with him, he said, "Sir, we have a table, a round table. A round table. Whenever we feel dizzy or sleepy or fatigue, will stand up, go and sit there and make the coffee for himself to drink there, will rest it, and after they will come back to work. So he said the offices, the department, the organization made a small round table in every department. For say when you become tired, go make a coffee for yourself, sit there and eat, drink it, and come back, make yourself relax. Now that will make you more effective than taking a long hour break. That long hour break will not come up with the same rhythm. You will not be able to come with the same rhythm as you are coming in a short-term breaks. Clear? Now next we have too long rest intervals may create disturbance, and also workers loses the continuity. The work gets out of mood of it. As I said it, guys, working it also has a mood. So when you take a long break, the mood will be disconnected. For example, when you are studying for exam, when you're studying for exam in the morning time, you started with studying it, so it has a mood. The moment you stopped, someone called you and you stopped, so what will happen? And you start talking and giving a time for 10 minutes or for 1 hour, or someone came to your house, your friend came to your house, and as a guest, what will happen? That will make you disturb. You will not come with the same attitude as you are coming in. Clear? Next we have the solution. What is the solution for that? What is the solution for that? The solution for this problem is to introduce the rest time period between the working hours. Should be dependent upon the nature of the work. Look, the nature of your work. If you take it the nature of our work as a lecturer, we have a rest time, because I had a class in early morning, right? Now early morning and afternoon we have a huge time gap. We have rested ourselves and we came back with the same energy. As I had energy in the morning time, I came back with the same energy and I delivered the lecture. Now there is no variation comes. Maybe I'm more active than in the morning time, because we served, we consumed, we rested the time for 3 hours, for 4 hours we rested. Now we come back with the same emotion, with the same mood. Is it clear? So the work should be, the gap should be, or the rest time should be introduced according to the nature of the job. See the nature of the job. Look, for example, you're working as a bank cashier, sitting in front of the desk and dealing with your customers. So look, the nature of this job is only 1 hour should be gap there. 1 hour. You might have a gap. Ask him that you have tea break inside that. Yeah, you have, because I visited a bank and I was just converting something. So I saw that at the time, I think the time was 10:30. They bring that biscuits or one thing, they had in their pocket, in their drawers, and they picked up and start eating. They said, we have a break time. We have a tea time. So we will transact dealing with you after the tea break. There's a tea break for them. So that's why they have a tea. No, you have to introduce a rest time period as according to the nature of the job. So the simple question from all of you guys: what will be the effects on individual or industrial fatigue? Industrial fatigue on individual, what will be effect on comes? Can you tell me that? What will be effect comes? Number one, when there is a fatigue on you, what will happen? What will be the effects? Maybe your performance will decrease your performance. Next,
Not proper working.
yeah, not proper working. You,
No concentration.
no concentration, decrease in production. Okay, now let's see. Number one, we have reduced performance and productivity in the workplace. Increase the possibility of absenteeism and turnover. When there is a fatigue, definitely workload will be high, stress is there, so absenteeism will be increased. Or you might leave the organization after some time. You might resign from that organization. Next we have increase the risk of accident and injuries occurring, definitely. Next we have ability to think clearly. Headache, eye strain, muscular pain will be there, lack of concentration will be there, and irritable or anxiety, worries will be there, or the last one, poor judgment there. You might have, when there is a fatigue, you are not able to make any proper judgment. Next we have, this is the last slide, reduce the capacity for effective interpersonal communication. The communication will be there, the barriers of communication will be there, you cannot properly communicate it. Next we have, next, which one? Reduction. Again go back. Look, reduce the performance and productivity of workplace. You know. Next we have increased the possibility of synthesis. Next we have increase the risk accident injuries are occurring. Sometimes we have accidental, that as you have seen that accidents are there inside the road or somewhere, that's because of too much stress. You might have done some. Okay, he doesn't. Okay, anyway. Ability to think clarity. Sometimes we have fatigue. Fatigue can, it will be also an effect then our mentality, that we must be active and clearly thinking. Headache, sardardi, eye strain, you have eye, you know, act all the, and muscles pain, muscular pain will be there. Lack of concentration, inability, irritable or anxiety, tars, stress there, हमेशा worry में बशे, tars में बशे. Poor judgment, फैसलेतन हमेशा, you know, या शक शुबहत में बशे. You cannot able to सत फिसद शुमा यकीन में बशे सर in सर decision होता. Now next we have reduce the capacity for effective interpersonal communication. The communication between you and others, there will be a side of barriers or problems will be there with the communication because of the fatigue. You will not be properly communicate. You all the time in angry mood. You are all the time in a stress mood. Whenever someone's talking, you feel angry or putting a loss of things. So that's why fatigue can irregularly sleep habit disturb curriculum of rhythms. Now, whenever you have sleeping problems, whenever you got a sleeping problems, irregular sleeping problems, sometimes you sleep at 12 o'clock, sometimes you sleep at 10 o'clock, sometimes you sleep at 2 o'clock, because the regulation is there, completely disorder, that also affect on your mentality. Lack of sleep causes, lack of sleep causes heart disease, high blood pressure, stomach infection, diabetes, depression, asthma, and many more. These are the problems. We are always calling, we have a headache, we have a stomach problem, we have blood pressures, we are visiting to different doctors, to visit with different doctors for the sake of treatment. Although we are not taking care of our mentality, when you are putting too much pressure on ourselves, so what will happen? Our ability or our mentality or our illness will be there. These are the illness. You might have seen people, they have a stomach problem or other problems, a lot of problems, your heart disease, or these are problems. Look, a normal person having no problems there. When a person having a stress in their life, so he or she will have a lot of problems there. Problem arise, although he has mental problem, but look, whenever your digestive system is not properly working, your appetite or eating problem, you have got an eating problem, and you cannot properly eat something, so what you can see that, is it the problem of your stomach or is it the problem of the stress? People who are under the pressure, under the stress, they have a problems or these. Look, when your mental ability is not working, your all body will disturb. Mentality, mind can disturb your all body. If it is controlled, relaxed, warm, and it is relaxed, so your all body will be relaxed. If it is not controlled, so what will happen? Your all body will be, the function will be disordered. Clear?